Hello again. I'm here now to talk to you about parts of a triangle. I hope you've had a chance to look at the parts of a polygon lesson and maybe done some follow-up on your favorite polygons. I have a new sacred geometry background for this lesson. This one's really, really cool. I like this one. I might use this one more often for our geometry lessons. And so I want to bring out a material here. I have our triangle, constructive triangle box. Let's see if I can make myself a little bit more workspace, move my computer up. Okay, so here is our triangle box for our constructive triangles. So I'm going to open that up and I want to look at the different triangles that we have in here. Here we have an equilateral triangle and we have 4 of those. I'm going to stack them up and set them off here to the side. There's those ones. And here I have some obtuse isosceles triangles. These ones have an obtuse angle. These sides are the same length. So we're going to take those ones out and set them over here and make a stack of those. Set them right here. And here I have 2 right triangles. These ones here make the triangle this way. Over so they can be together right down there. And here I have another large equilateral triangle. Box out of the way. Here we go. So first I want to talk about the parts of our equilateral triangle. This one has 3 sides that are all the same length, and all 3 of these angles are the same, have the same measure. So let's look at the parts. Just like when we talked about polygons and how polygons all have the same names for their parts, we have the base of a triangle. Let me write that label out for you. Base is the bottom of our triangle. There it is. There's our base. And these other parts here are sides. We learned about sides, an area of a polygon. So side. Triangles all have 3 sides. Oh, review triangle, the etymology of a triangle. Tri is 3, angle, 3 angles. Okay, base, side. The outside edge, if we added up all 3 of the sides, all of that together equals our perimeter. So perimeter is all the sides added together. It's the outside, the measure of the outside, para, around, meter, to measure. So I'll put that over here out of the way. And then all 3 of these points, we don't see them like we did with the box of sticks, but all 3 of those points are called vertices or the vertex. Vertex comes from the Latin vertare, meaning to turn. So these are points where it turns. And the insides of each of those are called angles. And so a triangle has 3 angles. There's an angle here and down here and one right here as well. So angles are parts of a triangle. I am going to go ahead and take off some of these. I'm going to take off angle and perimeter and set them aside. We know that those words belong here, but I'm going to talk about another side, or not another side, another word. I'm going to take our triangle and I'm going to hold it up, and so you'll see it over here. So we've talked about the sides and the base. Now I want to talk about one more measure that's kind of hard to see when we look at this. Here I have our plumb bob that I have in our box of sticks. So it's not super fancy. It's just a big washer tied to a string. Plumb bobs are traditionally, they are made of lead on a weight, and when they're hung, they hang straight down to the barosphere because the weight is pulling straight down. And so the line that's created from the plumb bob, this line right here, is a vertical line. So we're going to take our plumb bob and we're going to look at our string, and here's our triangle. When we hold this at this top point and hold it right there, the line that's created there from the top vertex right here from this vertex down to the base, that is the height of our triangle. So the height is measured by making a straight line from the top to the base. And so that's one more part we can measure on here. Well, I can't hold it up and hold the tag and hold all the things at the same time, but you can believe me right here. Down the center is the height. And here's a label for that. The height goes from the topmost part down to where the base lies, right down here. So the height on this one goes straight up the top. Okay, I'm gonna pull those labels off and trade spaces for a right angled triangle. Here's our right angled triangle. Just like our equilateral triangle, we have 3 sides and 3 angles. The bottom side on this is called the base, and the other 2 sides, side here and a side here. This is a third side, but we call it a base. The vertex or vertices on this one, there's one at the top, one here at the right angle, and one over here. So the vertexes are 1, 2, and 3 measured on here. And the height on this one's easy to see. It's right here on this black line. I can show you that this way as well, though. If we take our plumb bob, oh, you can't see green. Oh, that's funny. I'll turn it around. You can't see the green because of the green screen. So we could do all sorts of like Harry Potter magic tricks with that. Okay, so we'll turn it around and show the brown side. So here's this, the plumb bob goes along that side, that's the height. That's where our height is. Magic green screen, there we go. And the height is measured right there. So the base, the sides, and the height is from the highest point to the lowest point. Okay, I'm gonna pull those aside and I'm gonna pull out our next triangle that's in this box. The next triangle is an obtuse isosceles triangle. We name it obtuse because it has this angle right here that's larger than 90 degrees. Like you can see, here we go, larger than 90 degrees. And this side and this side are equal. So we call it isosceles, iso, same. Okay, our base is right down here. And these other 2 parts are still our sides. Here and here, those are sides. And all 3 points are still called vertices. There's a vertex there, there, and there. So they're vertexes. And the last one to talk about is the height. And the height on this one is very interesting because you can't measure it inside the triangle. You have to do an external height to measure the height of this triangle. So we can't go from here to here. That's not the complete height. And we can't go this way because that's not a height. So we have to actually measure from the highest point down to the base right out here, an external height. I'm gonna hold it up with the plumb bob. And so you can see here it is. And here's the plumb bob. And so the height is measured from that highest point, well, there we go. From that highest point to the base. I'm gonna set this back out here and let me see if I have my box of sticks handy. Let me see if I have a stick that is the right height for this. I've never done this before, so we'll see. Yeah, that looks pretty close. So not quite. And I think the black one's too long. So the height is somewhere between our red and our black, but the height is measured on the outside right there, measuring from the highest point down to the base. This is the height right here. The height. Okay, so now we've talked about the parts of all of our types of triangles. We've talked about acute triangles. We talked about a right triangle. And we talked about our obtuse triangle. Here we go. We've talked about triangles with 2 sides that are the same. We talked about a triangle with 3 sides that are the same. And I didn't say this word when we were looking at it, but our right triangle is special. Our right triangle has 3 different lengths of sides. So our longest side right here, and then the middle one and the short one. This is called a scalene triangle. So this is a right scalene triangle, isosceles obtuse triangle, and an acute or equilateral triangle. Okay, I hope you learned something new with our parts of a triangle. I can't wait to do more work with you. Next time we'll do parts of a right triangle, because even though we talked about them here with our right triangle, they have some special names, and you can thank Pythagoras, one of our favorite mathematicians, for that, because Pythagoras did a lot of work with the right triangle, and so we have a lot of special words that go with our right triangle. Okay, I look forward to seeing you next time. Good night.